Well, hello, good morning. Welcome to Data Download. Well, until about 6 o'clock, 6:30, 7 o'clock last night, we had a fantastically chewy, interesting newsletter to share with you. And then, as seems to be the news gods' new behavior, Friday night just went completely sideways. So we will walk through the newsletter as we always do, just very quickly. But it definitely, the tenor has changed. So first of all, just a little bit of a reminder for those of you joining us for the first time. We do this live data download read, but we certainly would love you to subscribe to the newsletter. The newsletter is a great read. We hope you'll subscribe to it. And then we can read along on Saturday mornings as the newsletter comes out, or you can share it among your friends. That being said, we are live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. If you have comments or questions, want to, engage in the material, please feel free to jump into the comments, and I will do my best to answer them as we go along. But this is going to be a brief data download live read, just because it's a difficult day. So, we'll start with RBG, who I continue to call RGB, just because red, green, blue, for those of us who've been in the video space a long time. If you haven't seen the film Notorious RBG, maybe that's all I need to say. I knew her work and I was familiar with her life story. And despite that, the documentary is extraordinary. Eye-opening, inspirational, exciting, passionate, driven. She's a woman that will be etched in history. I'm not going to get into the politics of this day, just because I don't think we need to do it on this podcast, and secondly, because I think, whatever your politics, you're aware of how much things changed yesterday. So, maybe the best thing I can do is just offer up this Guardian article. I'll put it in the show notes. It's very strong. It's very well written. It's very thoughtful, and it's a good way to begin the newsletter, and also just to understand that Friday, September 18th. Big important news day. And it's funny, I spent some time last night reading about her decisions as relates to technology. Not a lot, interestingly enough. A lot about, some about the FCC. But that's actually a place where I'd love some feedback from our viewers and listeners. If there is a RBG technology thread out there, I'd love you to share it with me, and I'll share it with the audience. One of the challenges of trying to research anything now is when everything immediately gets overwhelmed with 74,000 links of the moment. Anyway, moving on to some other things that are equally, not equally important, but important. So by now you probably all know that Andrew Yang is joining the Media Lab as our day 2 keynote. Very excited to have Andrew join us. We'll reach out to have you ask some questions in the weeks ahead as we move up to the event. That being said, we put in the newsletter today a really good Vox.com Andrew Yang piece. 2020 UBI fixing government. Obviously, because the Media Lab's questions are going to be about technology and about New York in particular, and the role of technology and media in New York. That will be the focus of our conversation with him. This is October 8th, the second day of the 3-day summit. And here, let me just put right on the screen. If you have not signed up yet, on the screen is the sign up. There are 3 levels of tickets. There's a general admission ticket that's free, so please add your name to the list. There's a silver ticket that is $25 and gets you some really cool Media Lab swag, in addition to our undying love and appreciation. And then there's a $250 friend of the Media Lab ticket if you have an extra $250 to support our work. I always appreciate that, and that will get you a shout out and extra love and appreciation. So Andrew Yang, day 2, very exciting. In addition to Tristan Harris as our keynote on day 1, it's shaping up to be a pretty exciting, intense couple of days. We're a couple of weeks out, but we're going to keep talking about it and sharing information with you as we get more. There are more speakers coming, and there's an expo component, and there are some workshops that are very exciting. The whole team's working pretty much nonstop on it between now and middle of October. So that's thing number 1, Andrew Yang. You heard it here. Thing number 2 is our friend Jay Rosen, who has been pushing, I think, with great passion and conviction, this idea of threat modeling. And in this article in the newsletter today, we have a piece from The Verge in which Jay posts an interview with the ex-security chief of Facebook. Jay will also be at the summit. Will be part of our 3 big ideas to fix the broken internet panel, which will be moderated by Sarah Fisher from Axios. Very, very exciting panel. Just to be clear about our thinking on the panel, we're not a big fan of panels where everybody gets on stage, disagrees with each other, high fives each other, and then goes back to the green room and has a coffee. So we wanted this to be, provocative. And so these 3 ideas don't all align. I don't think all of our panelists are going to just agree with each other. But for example, I don't think we've announced it yet, but I'll just say it here for those of you paying attention to the fine print. We are going to announce Cory Doctorow as another one of our 3 big ideas panelists. I think that'll be next week when we put that out publicly. So this is article number 2, Jay Rosen. Read that for sure. Article number 3, researchers made a QAnon AI bot because things aren't apparently bad enough. This is a Gizmodo article published a week ago. I have mixed feelings about this AI bot. I'll let you read it for yourself, and then you can comment either in the comments or email me directly, whatever you want to do. Next up in the what we're watching category, this is the RGB documentary. I looked around to see if somebody had posted it on YouTube, and then I made a decision that, of course, as the Media Lab, part of our mission is to support filmmakers and storytellers and media makers. And so basically what I thought after a moment was, screw that, go nuts, go onto YouTube Movies and pay I think it's $3.99. Here it says buy or rent. Let's take a look. $3.99 to rent, or buy it for $11.99. Support the filmmakers, support the film, and share so we made a conscious decision to share the rentable link, and we hope it sells like crazy. We hope that you share it. We hope that if you haven't watched it, please do. It's incredibly inspirational, and it's a beautiful film, and she's an extraordinary human being. So with that, that'll also be in the show notes. So just go ahead and spend the $4. Go nuts. And by the way, if you rented it once before, and now that you're thinking about Ruth Bader Ginsburg, you could go nuts and rent it again. That would be okay. Another $4. Vote with your credit card. Vote with your links. All right. So moving on. What we're listening to, slightly lighter. This is Freakonomics Radio, which is fantastic. And someday I'll tell a great story about Freakonomics, but not today. So this is an interview with Reed Hastings about his new book, rules, no rules. I'm about 2/3 through it. It's interesting. There are things I absolutely agree with, and I love him for writing it, and I love him for putting it out there, and then there are some things I'm not sure I agree with. So that's not that I disagree, philosophically, but like his pay above pay scale, whatever anyone's worth in the market, whatever your competitor is willing to pay, just pay more, pay the most. While I like that philosophically, having run a bunch of startups and now running a not-for-profit, I'm not sure that works as easily in the real world as it does on paper. That being said, I think it was the right thing for Netflix to do. I also think they have the financial resources for a variety of reasons we can talk about another day to be able to, to kind of outbid the competition on great talent. And I think philosophically, I agree with it, but we'll save that for another day as well. And then, last but not least, the summit. The summit is coming up. We're well over 1,000 attendees and growing. Our goal when we set out to build the summit 2020 was to take last year's event, which some of you probably attended, which was amazing, and make this year's event bigger, more important, more insightful, more provocative, more complicated, more thoughtful. And the thing that the team and I talked about kind of in the planning stages was to, we're a media lab, we're in a virtual world. We don't give ourselves the leeway to say, well, this year is not going to be as extraordinary because it's hard, because it's virtual, because we don't get to be, in the room together, which, by the way, don't get me wrong, which is part of the magic of the event. And we fully expect to be back together next year. And our fingers are, whatever comes after, crossed, passionately committed to being back in the room doing this event live and in person. But for this year, virtual was the only way to go, and B was appropriate. And so we invite you all to sign up, to join, to participate, to network, and to work out the kinks of how to get what my guess is will be close to 2,000 people coming to an event in a virtual space. I think there are going to be some exciting surprises you're going to see on opening day, some things we're not going to share with you in advance before October 7th. Some people that are attending, some ways in which we're working on virtual that's a little bit unusual and exciting and different. And we really want you to be able to feel like you can close your other browsers, you can stop checking your phone, you can shut off Twitter, and you can be with us, with Tristan Harris, with Andrew Yang, with Jay Rosen, with Cory Doctorow, and many, many, many others as we put together what we think will be a groundbreaking event. So if you haven't signed up, I've got the tickets on the screen. So just go right now, go right now, sign up and get yourself tickets. And this is a longer URL, which I'm not going to put up, but it's basically just, free, silver, or gold. And we'd obviously love you to buy gold tickets. All right, because there's a Willy Wonka joke buried deep somewhere in there. All right, so with that, that is data download for today. Hope you've signed up. Hope you're fully engaged. It's a beautiful weekend in New York. Hope our friends on the West Coast are managing the challenges of the fires. Hope our friends in the Midwest are dealing with the challenges of the terrible weather. And as always, we're here to communicate with you, to share what we're working on. If you think there's anything we're missing that we should be adding to the newsletter, please let us know, because we're always looking for your feedback. And with that, have a good weekend. Stay focused.